I purchased a couple small pots of these approximately 12 years ago. As many garden enthusiasts do, I purchased them not knowing where I would plant them, how well they would do, but because I thought they were kind of cool and they were a little different looking. I thought to myself, you know what? I'll find a great spot for them when I get home. However, for one reason or another, when I did get home, I just wasn't feeling that same vibe as I was at the nursery. No longer inspired by them, I essentially relegated these to the edge of my woods and I planted them in a very inconspicuous location. Basically, they were one step away from being thrown in one of my compost piles. A few years later, while cleaning up autumn leaves, I noticed them again for the first time since planting them years before. I completely forgot about them, and to be honest, they kind of took me by surprise. They were underneath a large rhododendron bordering my woods and a spot that would likely only be noticed by me if I was, I don't know, adding fresh mulch in the spring or doing what I did, cleaning up in the fall. When I planted them, they were approximately 5 inches tall by maybe 3 inches wide. Just small little plants. Yet somehow, here I was standing over a 2 foot by 2 foot clump. Maybe 10 inches, possibly 12 inches tall, but really just nicely established, good looking plant. It was then that I realized the potential for this plant in my yard. I've got lots of hardpan as well as root and rock infested areas in my yard. Those locations that make it seemingly impossible to grow anything other than unwanted weeds. However, I thought to myself, I may have just discovered a plant like Pachysandra that has the ability to provide ground cover and beauty to some of my yard's ugliest locations. Yet, unlike Pachysandra, this plant is variegated and it moves beautifully in the breeze. Each year, I found new locations for the ice dance. I just couldn't get enough of it. I pull clumps, maybe 10 inches by 10 inches wide, and I divide them by hand and, maybe into small little plants like the size of, I don't know, a single dandelion, something like that. Many of my larger sedge grass gardens were a result of taking clumps just like this from multiple gardens, dividing those up, making little plants the size of the dandelion, and planting them, rows, staggering them in some locations, depending, making nice borders out of them with others. They take a little bit of time. They don't take immediately. But I got to tell you, within a couple years, you won't believe it. I also can't stress enough just how easy these were to plant. They're almost mistake proof and cannot be planted in a wrong or ineffective way. Most, if not all, plants benefit from soil amendment or additional nutrients such as compost. That being said, I gotta tell you, I planted these in some absolutely terrible soil, terrible light conditions, just terrible locations in general, and I've had great success with all of them. If you're looking for the best location, I have to tell you, they enjoy a little more moisture and a little less sun. But that doesn't mean you can't put them in a sunny area. It does, however, mean that they'll do better in a shade garden. And, if you have one, this is a great spot for them. If you're looking for an alternative or an additional poor soil, shady location, grow anywhere, and still look great plant to go with your Pachysandra and hostas, well, look no further. The ice dance Japanese sedge grass is for you.